care of newborn from birth to weaning. Care of newborn from birth to weaning in the sense, it is the duty of mother. We can assist, that's all. Any offspring, any newborn will be taken care of by its mother. But the thing is, due to domestication and due to keeping the animals for different purposes by the human beings, by the mankind, in the wild, they used to roam freely. They used to fetch their own things. They used to protect themselves. When we started keeping them in an area for our purpose, that means we have restricted their movements and other things for our purpose. It has become our bounden duty to take care about the animals. To take care about the animals, especially, you know pretty well, the young ones in the wild, though they are vulnerable, the mothers used to protect them like anything. But here in the artificial farms, in the areas where we do restrict the animals for our purposes, it becomes a bit difficult. It becomes a difficult for us because if one cannot replace the nature, actually we need to leave it to the mother. We need to leave it to the mother unless there is a need of intervention. Unless there is a need of intervention. All the things I have gained through my experience, I am trying to present them in a proper way. The care of newborn actually will start when the lamb or the young ones is in the womb of the mother itself. Does it need extra care? We need to know about it. First of all, the fundamental thing is, if the mother is in good condition, I have already told you, if the mother is in good condition, mother will take care of its offspring. There won't be any problem. To keep the mother in good condition, we have to know what type of care we need to take about the mother. That is very, very important. The fundamental aspect is knowing that the mother is pregnant, knowing that the dam is pregnant, knowing that our sheep is pregnant, knowing that our goat is pregnant. That is very, very important. If we are not aware about the status, pregnancy status of the animal, will not be in a position to know, because usually we will be doing flock mating in the case of sheep and goat. We don't do the hand mating as is done in certain animals. In the flock mating, we will be letting certain rams go along with the females, and they do cross when the females do come to heat. In the hand mating, you know, we select the males and we select the females in heat. We cross them separately so that we will be knowing about each event, when it is conceived, when it has become positively pregnant, when it is going to lamb or kid. These things we know, we will have records. But in the case of flock mating or the pen mating, it becomes very difficult. But we have to know about the pregnancy status. The optimum time for detecting the pregnancy is from 45 to 90 days of gestation. We need to know about the seasons. We have to know about the seasons during which the animals do get pregnant. So this is one thing, fundamental aspect. All the farmers need to know, and we the veterinarians also must be aware, so that we can communicate the same thing to the farmers. So scanning, real-time ultrasound examination is recommended generally. Okay, hand palpation is also very, very important. We need to know about the condition of the animal, and we need to know about the pregnancy status. This ultrasound examination is almost a good thing to identify the animal, whether it is pregnant or not. Another thing is, if we know the pregnancy status, we can do certain things. Management operations we can carry out. The first thing is we have to do the nutritional management. You know, nutritional management is very, very essential. Anything, the improvement that is brought in by genetics is failed by nutrition. You know, however best the animal may be, it may be having the genetic potential. So however best the animal may be, we have to know, we have to provide the nutrition. That means the improvement brought in by genetics, the genetic potential improvement brought in by genetics is failed by nutrition. So we have to take care about the nutritional requirements of the animal, especially during the late gestation. The body condition must be known to. Body condition, we need to know about the body condition. Already we have scanned the animal. We know pretty well whether it is having a single or a twin or a triplet. You know, nowadays, because of the good management, we are getting twins and triplets also. The thing is, we need to keep in the mind, we have to exploit the genetic potential of the animal. If you know pretty well that the animal is having single or a twin or a triplet, accordingly, we can take care of the animal. We can take care of the animals. So knowing about the pregnancy status itself, the care of newborn will start by knowing the status of the pregnant animal. That is very important, because by feeding the animal properly, we can get a healthy and sound newborn. Pre-lambing management of pregnant ewes. This is also very, very important, because the lamb, if it is born in a proper environment, proper healthy environment, it becomes healthy. That is very, very important. What type of care we need to take about the adult sheep? That means the pregnant mother. This is an important aspect. Usually what we do is we get the lamb, then we'll take care of the lamb. We'll forget about the mother. Generally, the tendency is to take care of the weak, but before getting the weak out, how best care we take about the mother, that will be reflected in the future development of the lamb. That is a fundamental aspect one needs to keep in the mind. So taking care of the mother is nothing but taking care of the lamb. That is very, very important, because a lamb is a new raw recruit entering, and a new life is coming onto this earth. So we have to provide all kinds of comfortable environment to the lamb. That is very, very important. Approximately 1 month before lambing, the eve should receive the immunization, that vaccine, especially with regard to Clostridium strains. This is very, very important. 1 month before the lambing, Clostridium strains, the vaccination, multivalent vaccination, if it is given, it is very good. The second thing is we need to take care about the wool or hair coat that is present. The wool or hair coat, it will get sticky because of the droppings and because of certain mud and other things. What will happen? Those things will become sticky at the udder area, at the perineal region, and those things will become sticky, and it becomes very difficult for the lamb to come out. While the lamb is coming out, there is a possibility that the sticky material may contaminate the lambing environment also. So crutching is advised. Crutching is nothing but cutting the wool in the vulval area and around the udder. This is very important. And another thing is, some people will go for shearing. That means if long hair is present, they don't shear to the skin, they shear. That is very, very important. Shearing, what will happen? It will not retain the heat. It will not retain the heat in the body. So what will happen when the body heat is not retained? The thermodynamic actions can be reduced, so that the dry matter intake of the animal can be improved. This dry matter intake is directly associated with improved fetal lamb growth. The best nutrition that the animal is provided with, the best lamb that comes out. This is very, very important. And the scratching and the shearing will help in keeping the udder clean. This is very important for the nursing lambs. So these points like booster vaccinations, that means immunization, crutching, these two things we need to advise the farmers. Next is, you see, for the pregnant animal, before lambing, we have to think about the body condition. When we know about the body condition of the animal, accordingly, we need to provide the energy and energy dense rations. We have to improve the energy to ewes in poor body condition. And we need to provide special attention to the supply of calcium. If cereal hays are fed, hays in the stored condition, if you keep them in the stored condition in the shade, then we need to provide vitamin E and vitamin A also to the mothers. This is very, very important. If sheep are stall fed, feeder space should allow all ewes to eat at once. This is also very important, because we will be having the habit, because all the animals will be kept together. All the animals will be kept together. Animal behavior is they try to have the feed at the same time. They don't like to wait. This is the behavior which we need to exploit. When one animal is eating, the another animal will tend, and another animal will get tempted to eat. So providing feed to almost all the animals at a single time will always be good, and it encourages the feed consumption. This point we need to keep in the mind. This point we need to keep in the mind. And as far as possible, an horizontal feeder will serve the purpose better than a circular feeder or other thing. Horizontal feeder is very important. Then, increasing the energy and energy density of the ration. You know pretty well about the maintenance rations, and you know pretty well about the different types of dry matters. different types of levels of dry matters at different seasons I have given in the table. Next is, you see, basing on the production period, we need to provide comfortable environment to the animal. That animal comfort is a basic thing. If the animal is comfortable, animal will perform in a better way. When the animal perform in a better way, it will function properly as a mother, as a lactating mother. This is very, very important. As a mother means owning the lamb. As a lactating mother means taking care about the requirements of the lamb. These two things are very, very important. Owning and providing lactation to the lamb. Owning is not sufficient. Sometimes some animals do reject, but they do have good udder and good milking capabilities. But the basic problem is owning the lambs is very, very important. And here in this table, I have given you the late gestation and lambing animal class is eaves, what type of feeders are needed, and how much space for the late gestating animal spaces are needed. And after lambing also 1 to 3 days of age, 4 to 5 square feet of space is needed for ewe lamb pair. And for the lactation also I have given 20 square feet for ewe lamb pair. And the nursing and early weaning also this thing for the lambs creep area also I have given. All these things are very important because we may be sometimes thinking that if we keep this many animals at a single space, that is more than sufficient. But here one fundamental point all must keep in the mind is the animals do have some sort of feel. That means species specific behaviors will be there. Species specific behaviors. That means animals do have the habit of expressing their behaviors. We need to provide them to have the opportunity to express their own behaviors, species specific behaviors. Any constraint or anything that prevents the animals to express their own behaviors will act as a stressor. You know pretty well about the stressor. This stressor will lead to the release of cortisol, and this cortisol will have an inhibition effect on almost all the productive aspects of the animal. So animals should be provided with comfortable environment. So what will happen is when the animal is provided with a comfortable environment, the stressors will be reduced, and the environment should also provided with some environmental enrichment, novel ideas, novel items should be there. Environmental enrichment, that means providing some sort of things which will mimic the nature for the sheep and goat. Keeping the complete area dry, neat, tidy, it's not sufficient. We need to provide them with some sort of woods, logs, and other things so that they will have their specific behaviors satisfied. Species specific behavior satisfaction is very, very essential for the animal to perform properly. Next is, you see, care and management of the neonatal lamb. Now we have taken care about the pregnant animal. The pregnant animal delivered the thing. Then what are the things that are to be taken care of? Once the lamb has been born, you know pretty well, the lamb has come out, normal lambing, no dystocia, no problem at all. The lamb has come out. The ewe's natural instinct is to get up and start licking the lamb. That is the fundamental point. Immediately after the birth, what the mother will do is it starts licking. It starts smelling the lamb and it starts licking. This is very, very important. This licking and smelling the lamb will create the dam-daughter relationship. The dam-daughter bonding is very, very essential for future growth and future conduct of both the dam and daughter. Future conduct of both the dam and daughter. This is very, very important. We need to know about it. And the thing is, while leaking, what will happen is the placental fluids that are adhering to the body will also get dried up. The mother will lick all the things. You know, another thing is the mother's tongue will be a rasp-like structure, rasp-like organ. Mother's tongue will be rough. So what will happen when it is rubbing over the surface of the lamb? There will be some sort of stimulation, cutaneous circulation will be stimulated. Some sort of stimulation will be there. So cutaneous circulation will be stimulated and body condition will be improved. And because of the frictional thing, some temperatures also will rise. This is very, very important. And another thing is the nasal passages. Immediately after the birth, the lamb needs to breathe. This is very important. Breathing is a sign of life. The lamb needs to breathe. How much efficiently the lamb is breathing, this is very, very important. How much efficiently the lungs are bloated with the oxygen, fresh air, that is very, very important because everybody knows the lamb needs to breathe, but we need to know about the level of breathing. The level of breathing. The level of breathing in the sense we need to clear the nasal passages and we need to see that the animal is respiring to its fullest potential. The lamb is respiring to its fullest potential. This is very, very important. If we find that the lamb is not properly respiring, we need to do certain things. What we have to do is we have to advise the farmers to rub the head and body thoroughly. This is very, very important. If still it is not normally breathing, then we have to stimulate the sneeze reflex by tickling the nostrils. This is very, very important. And this mouth to nose resuscitation should not be done because there is a possibility of zoonotic disease transmission, such as Chlamydophilus avartus and Coxiella burnetii infection. These minimal things are very important to make the lamb respire properly and to exploit its breathing potential properly. This is very, very important. Drying the body is an essential aspect of helps us to keep the animal alive, thoroughly animal alive, and it improves the immunity of the animal also. Then normal behavior at birth, normal behavior at birth. This is very important. This sheep breed which I am showing to is the Dakkani sheep of our farm. It has given twins. It has given twins. This is Dakkani. Usually 90% of the Dakkani sheep do give singles only. Twins are the rarest of the rare. Among the Dakkani breed, twins are the rarest of the rare. Here it has given twins. You can see the body recently lambed lambs. Recently lambing has taken place. See here, normal behavior at birth is lamb should be standing within 10 to 20 minutes of birth. This is very important, Before that also animals will stand. The maximum time limit I am keeping here, 10 to 20 minutes after birth. This is very important. Before that also animals do stand. But the thing is we need to take about this very important. The lambs to get attracted to the ventral line and they go to the udders. And they will try to suckle the mother and the mother's behavior. In the initial days, you see, the relation, the dam-daughter relation will be maintained by the mother during the first week of life. After the first week of life, the lambs tend to maintain the dam-daughter relationship. This is a fundamental, this is a wonderful thing of the nature, This is a wonderful thing of the nature. Initial days of survival are taken care of by the mother. Later, measures of survival will be taken care of by the lambs, you see. Then the eaves licking and nudging behavior encourages a suckling reflex. This is very important. I have already told you the crutching part should be done. The crutching part, the wool and other things should be removed around the perineal region and udder region. This is very important. The licking also serves to provide olfactory stimulation to aid in maternal recognition of the lamb. You see, mothers will be licking. We have already discussed about this. Mothers will be licking. So olfactory recognition, the smell, through smell, it will recognize its lamb. This bonding generally occurs in the first hour after birth. This is a fundamental point we need to keep in the mind. We have to see that the lamb and daughter stay together for during the initial periods so that important aspect can be taken care of. Sometimes you see, we have to help the lambs to suckle the mother because what will happen is the ewe has so much milk, but her teat is too big for the lamb to lash on. Sometimes you see the teats will be very big for the lambs to get hold of. Then we need to think about that part also while thinking about and while taking care of the lambing. We don't need to jump into the intervention. We need to stand away and we need to observe for our intervention, the time of our intervention. If it is needed, then only we need to intervene. Otherwise, the nature will take its own care. The nature will take its own care. If the udder is very big and it is causing some kind of difficulty to the lambs to suckle, we need to stand there. We need to let the lambs suckle the mother immediately. That is very, very important. We have to help them to hold the teats. That is very important. Next is bonding of the dam daughter. The top figure, you see, the mother is licking the top, the dakani. But the thing is here, you see at the bottom, it is not licking, it is looking at the lamb, and lamb is standing away. That means there is a possibility of rejection. This is called a circling. And rejection, you see, this is also an important aspect we need to take care of. This is also an important aspect we need to be bothered about. It is critical that Eve have an undisturbed opportunity to bond with her lamb. So we need to leave them. We need to leave them in a clean environment. This is an important aspect, cleanly an environment in the sense, some people do provide bedding, but I strongly advise not to provide the bedding, because that bedding part, you see, if it is not cleaned properly in the for the sake of the lamb to have a comfortable thing, if it is not properly taken care of, what will happen? There is a patent navel cord. There is a patent navel cord. Through navel cord, ascending type of infections will be there. We need to take care about that thing. Clean with soil bedding, that is more than sufficient. Clean environment is an essential aspect. It is critical that you have an undisturbed opportunity to bond with her lambs. This is very important. And another thing is the stealing part, you see, if you are letting other ewes also to be with the other bucks or the ewes along with this lambing, recently lambed mother, what will happen is those things will come and do lick the mother's vaginal fluids and other things, and they smell the lamb also. They lick the lamb also, and they try to steal the lamb from the mother. That is a big thing we need to take care about. This mother will be having milk, and that mother will not be having sufficient milk, maybe in the late lactation or maybe in the mid lactation. Already peak has completed and several problems will be there. This is also an aspect we need to know about. Then circling behavior is an abnormal and it indicates that the bonding process is failing. The mother will be rotating and it will not allow the lamb to come and suckle. I have already told you in the previous slide that they will go to the ventral line and they will catch hold. This is a reflex. This is generally in the pigs and other things. We will be using the word rooting reflex. They will take a semicircular route after coming out from the vagina, the birth canal. What they will do is they will take a semicircular turn. The semicircular turn will make them reach the udder. And the udder with the milk, engorged milk, will provide warm environment to the newly born piglet or the newly born animal. The warmth is very, very essential for the survival. This aspect we need to think about. The failure to bond and failure to successfully find the teat are major risk factors for hypothermia, hypoglycemia, and septicemia. You know, these are the basic problems. So the basic three problems that disturb the lamb is, first is hypoxia. We have taken care of it. We have cleared the nostrils. We have cleared the nostrils. Hypoxia, we have taken care. Then hypothermia, we need to take care. And hypoglycemia, these three hypos are the major factors of mortality and morbidity. They are the major factors of mortality for the lambs. Early lamb mortality, hypoxia, hypothermia, and hypoglycemia. And another thing is septicemia. The animal will not be, the lamb will not be having sufficient immunity. It is not shielded by the immunity. It will be having just a passive immunity that also is acquired only through the consumption of colostrum. Through the consumption of colostrum, these parts, these points we need to think about. It is a new life. It has just entered onto this earth. You know pretty well, a new life just entered onto this earth without having any immune shield, any immunity, any coverage. So it is our bounden duty, because we are keeping the animals for our purpose in an enclosed environment. It becomes very important for us to take care of that point also. Then you see this bonding. This bonding, you see the telecherry and other things, and here it is Nari Suvarna and other animals are having the twins and other things. You see this bonding, the chance of successful bonding will improve if the eve and lambs are provided with a quiet area. This is the area in that photo. You can see the twins on the top side. We will be allowing the animals to stay together for 2 to 3 days. We will not disturb them. We will not let them go for grazing. That mother will be retained with the lambs, so that what will happen is the mother will have some sort of bonding, and the lambs also do have some sort of bonding with the mother, and they don't get disturbed. A quiet area will be there. Only the thing is, we'll be providing the leaves and other things, the fodder leaves, concentrate mixture and other things basing on the requirement of the animal. And here you see, if you keep them in a separate area, what will happen is we can check the status of the lambs. That is very, very important. Status of the lambs is that means whether it is having stomach fill and its attitude, how it is, whether it is active or whether it has passed the meconium, and what is the behavior of the eve. Is it taking care? Is it with the lambs, or is it staying away? Is it kicking the lambs? All these things we can understand very clearly if you let them stay together for a while. This is an important aspect we need to be aware of, and sufficient stage must be sufficient size must be provided. This is an important aspect. This is an important aspect. Sufficient space for the lambs to move and mother to move. That is an important thing we need to keep in the mind. Then, passive immunity. Some animals do provide the milk. Here you see the goat is there and the lamb is there. Our attender is giving through bottle feeding is being done, because here the thing is the mother is not having sufficient milk. What we have to do? If the weave is fed correctly in late gestation, it is properly vaccinated and does not have mastitis, then she should be in a position to provide lamb with sufficient colostrum and adequate quantity and quality. In adequate quantity and quality. But exceptions to this rule of thumb may be observed with maiden eves. Recently, first time if the lamb, then comes the problem, because they are nervous. They don't have the art of lambing. They did not, first time they are encountering this. If they are led with the other senior mothers, then they would learn. This is the thing, you see. In the expression of species-specific behavior, the first thing is they are gregarious and they are group-loving animals. The sheep and goat are group-loving animals. They try to stay in a group. They do have banding instinct. They try to stay together. They are group-loving. So here, as far as possible, we need to let other animals also see the mother letting the young ones suckle, mother giving birth to young ones like this. The concrete solid walls are not needed here. Solid walls are not needed. Just a little fencing so that animals can see. That is an important aspect, so that by seeing they will learn. Then if the eve has an inadequate colostrum, we have to provide sufficient nutrients to the animal. Otherwise, what will happen? The lamb will become weak. The weak animal will remain weak forever. That is very, very important. That aspect we need to be, that aspect has to be taken care of. This passive immunity part, whether the mother is taking care or we are taking care, that is very important. The bottom line is take care about the nutritional requirement of the animal. That is an important aspect, because you see, immediately after the birth, the mother don't send it raw. The mother provide it with sufficient glycogen reserves. Those glycogen reserves will be sufficient only for 6 hours. 6 hours. Before the 6 hours, before getting those glycogen reserves exhausted, the lamb has to be provided some extraneous source of nutrition. That means nutrients have to be provided. Otherwise, what will happen? That the glycogen reserves, that energy generated through them, will be sufficient to keep its body warm. Hypothermia, protection from hypothermia. That is very, very important. That reserves will be sufficient to keep itself warm. So what we have to do is within 6 hours, we need to attend to the requirement of the animal. And another thing, the absorption capability of the colostrum is also in a waning aspect. Up to 24 hours, it will get absorbed very fast. Later to that, it slowly, gradually, it goes down. So the animal must be in a good condition to suckle the mother. If it is weak, it cannot suckle properly. What we have to provide is, we have to provide alternate nutrition sources. Alternate source of colostrum. If the eve has inadequate colostrum obtained from other animals can be fed. Most ideal is the sheep colostrum from a eve of known health status. This is very important. And another thing is, pretty well about the synthetic colostrum. cow's milk, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon cod liver oil, 1 heaping tablespoon of sugar. These things will be sufficient, and a clean bottle can be used to feed the lamb. So sometimes bovine and caprine colostrum can also be used, but we have to be very careful. The source animal should not be infected with infectious diseases. This is an important aspect. Maybe colostrum is available, but we have to know about the health status of the animal. Without knowing the health status of the animal, if you bring in the colostrum, nothing, but we are not doing any good to the animal. We are introducing new disease into the animal. For example, this bovine leukosis virus, if it is affected, and Mycobacterium avium species, Pasteurellosis, bovine viral diarrhea virus, caprine arthritis encephalitis virus, and Mycoplasma mycoides species, mycoides. These things are very important. We have to know that the animal from which we are getting the colostrum, that is very, very important. We have to know about, if we want to bring the milk also, we need to be very careful about, the health status of the animal, because this is, I've already told you, a raw recruit just has entered onto this earth. It's having no immune shield. If you provide some milk which is having some disease and other thing, then what will happen? You know pretty well about it aggravates, and the lamb mortality will be very, very high. The lamb mortality will be very high. We are not giving a new, healthy lamb. We are giving in turn a weak, susceptible lamb. This is an important thing we need to keep in the mind. Next is the majority people, they do not take care. Farmers will be coming to us telling that it is having several infections are at the umbilical region. Navel ill is there, arthritis is there, joint ill is there. Several times people will be coming. I'll ask only one thing. Did you cut the navel in a proper way? This is an important aspect people should know about. Cutting the navel, it is a light channel when it is inside the womb. When it comes out, it is an important channel that has to be cut. That is an important aspect. This is a channel for the ascending infection, This aspect we need to take care about. And while closing it also, we have to use all antiseptic conditions. We have to see that no sepsis take place. That is very, very important. We have to take sufficient care about the navel cord. This important aspect, we need to convince the farmers, and we need to convince ourselves that a little negligence will lead to a big infection. Little negligence lead to big infection. This infection, you know pretty well, definitely we treat them because we are strong in treatment and we have the antibiotics. But that period of treatment, 1 week or 10 days, during that period, the animal will have severe pain, severe infection, severe disease, more temperature. So that 1 week period will make the animal lag behind, and to recover from that, it takes so much time. So the ultimate objective of getting a profitable lamb will get defeated. So each and every action has to be taken care of. Okay, sometimes due to some other activities, we may neglect, but the negligence should not be a generalized one. It is a routine practice of the farm. A routine must be followed as a basic routine. These are the tenets of the sheep farming. The basic tenets, basic principles of sheep farming should not be neglected. And another thing is vitamin A and selenium supplementations are very, very important. Here, vitamin A and selenium, if they are endemic and they are having vitamin A and selenium deficiencies, we need to take care about these things. And vitamin A and D injections also are to be administered to the gestating ewes if the ration is deficient. If the ration is deficient in vitamin A and D, we need to provide injections to the mother. This part we need to take care of. The vitamin E, selenium, vitamin A, vitamin D. These are very, very important things that are required by the mother so that it can transmit to the offspring. When these are transmitted to the offspring will become a bit resistant. This is very, very important. Identification of the lamb immediately after the birth. by spraying some paint and other things are very important, so that when we are letting them be in group, we need to know to which eve that lamb belongs to. And sometimes when we want to separate the lamb, we have to select the eve and the lamb together. That is very, very important. Identification aspect is also an important thing. Then nutrition of the nursing lamb. The peak milk production in ewes occurs approximately 30 days after lambing. Milk provides most of the nutrient requirements of the lambs until they reach 30 to 45 days of age. The nutrition part we have to take care about. The nutrition part is very important. And by the 10th day, the lambs do start taking some solid materials. The rumen will become functional by 3rd week. In the case of lambs, by 3rd week, they can take the creep feed and other things. From 10th day onwards, they start consuming small amounts of solid feeds. We have to see that a creep feed is provided in a separate area. A creep feed is provided in a separate area to which the adults are not allowed. Here you see on the left side of the diagram, we provide the creep feed in an enclosed area where the lambs do have the access, not the mothers. Only the lambs do have access. This creep feed will be preparing for the animals so that we can reduce dependence on the mother, because the mothers will be going for the grazing. For so much time, they will be on grazing only. The lambs will be inside the pens till they attain 3rd month of age. After 3rd month, we'll wait for 1 month. Then we'll let them go along with the mothers. Then fostering, I already have shown the dam related issues will be there and lamb related issues will be there. Then during that period, let it be because of the lamb or let it be because of the dam, we need to take care about providing sufficient nutrition to the animals. That is an important aspect we need to care about. Sometimes, dam related death or severe illness may require separation of the lamb from its dam. Then we need to provide artificial feeding. Artificial feeding. This is a thing that is needed. Then artificial rearing of the nursing lambs. This is an important aspect, you see. This is an important aspect. There is a structure into which the bottles are put. There is the structure into which the bottles are put. All the lambs will go and they will suckle. Here you see, this part we need to think about. The lambs can be raised on milk replacer until the age of 21 to 28 days. Later to that, we can provide the creep mixtures and other things. An example of a good milk replacer is one contains 22% of protein from milk sources and 28% of fat from animal. Already in the market, we'll have branded milk replacers will be there. We can buy those milk replacers. We can mix them. Sometimes we don't even need even cow milk mixed with the things, artificial colostrum and artificial milks. I have already told you, those things can be used for the purpose of feeding. A lamb bar, that photograph is showing, lamb bar is very important, so that they cannot take very fast and they cannot, if it is provided in a bucket, what will happen? Engorgement and above muscle bloat possibility is there. If it is provided like this, we can prevent engorgement and above muscle bloat. Then foster rearing is there. Foster rearing, foster is nothing but a selection of an eve, which is a good mother, which is having good milking ability and which is having good mothering ability, and which will be almost in the same status of post-lambing. Successful fostering of lambs may be accomplished in any of several ways, but ultimately the attitude of the foster dam, attitude in the sense, it must have, already told you, it must have good mothering ability, acceptance, that is very, very important. Otherwise, what will happen, even if you keep with the good mother, the eve with good milk yield, it will not serve the purpose. It should have the mothering instinct and mothering ability should be there. Sometimes the mother, it pretty well thinks that I have to feed my own lamb, not the other lambs. Like that it thinks. It is a natural instinct of the mothers. So what will happen? We need to do certain interventions. We need to do certain interventions like masking the mother smell, and rubbing the lamb with fetal fluids, birth fluids. Birth fluids are rubbing it with the fresh placenta, like that, and masking the mother's instincts. We have to do certain things. Then manipulating the eve's maternal instinct by cervical or vaginal stimulation, removing her own lamb and returning the foster lamb back with her. At the same time, we have to do these things. Then restraining the eve so that the lamb can successfully suckle until the eve accepts the lamb. These things are interventions. These interventions, the farmers know pretty well what to do, and just we have to guide them. We have to refresh their knowledge so that they also will take care. Because the basic thing is we know everything, but we are not in a position to spare time. If we can spare time on these petty issues, major things can be avoided. Major things can be avoided. Lambs older than 5 years of age require an energy source for before warming. Sometimes failure to provide energy, I've already told you, the glycogen reserves will be sufficient up to 6 hours. If you are not in a position to recoup that energy level, what will happen? That will become more susceptible and it succumbs to the external environment and dies. You see here on the right side, holding the lamb with the front legs, then introducing this dextrose with 30 ml hot boiled clean water that is directly introduced into the peritoneal cavity. This is the thing. Injection site is 1 inch below and a half inch to the side of the navel. On either side, you can give the injection. 60 ml, you can 60 ml syringe with 60 ml syringe, you can give with 20 ml dextrose and 30 ml hot boiled clean water. And it must be brought to the normal temperature and insert needle pointing towards the tail head at a 45 degrees angle to the body wall. Inject the solution slowly over 10 to 15 seconds. No resistance should be felt. This is an important aspect of providing energy to the animal and keeping the animal warm. This is the important thing. After the completion of this thing, we have to take care about to keep the animal warm. This protecting the lamb from hypothermia, especially during cold season, this is a very, very important aspect. Otherwise, what will happen? It will affect all the future growth traits. It will affect all the future growth traits. We need to be cautious about these things. Once we take care of these things, what will happen is we can assure that an healthy lamb will be there running in front of us. Yes, with the 4 limbs, beautiful limbs, it will be running in front of us, looking at us with the curiosity, and it will jump and it will eat. So when it is jumping, it is nothing, a great joy to us. Then perinatal mortalities, basic risk periods. I have already told you, birth to 5 hours, then 5 hours to 7 days. The 5 hours to 7 days, this topic, second point is hypothermia most often as secondary to hypoglycemia. When there is no energy, body will not be in a position to generate the heat. The shivering thermogenesis or some other metabolic thermogenesis, if it is to be taken place, the body should have sufficient energy. Then what will happen is if it is not having sufficient energy, there is a possibility of perinatal mortality. These 2 periods should be taken care of. The nutrition aspect, nutrition always plays a critical role for the survivability of the lambs. Nutrition is this an important aspect. You know pretty well about nutrition through milk or nutrition to some solid foods, some concentrates, some fodders, which are all nutritionally rich. The colostrum, you know, the quality and quantity of colostrum plays a big role. Then the mother's milk. Then mineral-rich food materials, protein and energy balanced rations. These are very important. These are very important to make it healthy and to come to market weight at an early age. Then I have already told you in the beginning, first slide itself, taking care of the mother is an essential aspect of taking care of the lamb. We have to draw for the production cycle. Before the breeding, you know pretty well about the flushing. After the flushing, we'll cross them. That is the early gestation. Then comes the late gestation. After late gestation, lambing will take place. Then comes the lactation. Then comes the maintenance. So this production cycle can be divided for our convenience. for our purpose. It is a continuous cycle. For our convenience, we can divide it like this: breeding season, early gestation, late lactation, the flushing, providing extra rations. This is an important aspect. Then early gestation, first 90 to 100 days of an approximately 150-day gestation period. This is an important aspect. We need to know whether the size of the animal, the body weight of the animal is increasing or not. Overall expected weight, what should be the expected weight and what could be the expected weight during the first 100 days, how much weight should be there, and weight should not be too much. If it is having too much weight gain, then we can call it as obese, and fat deposition leads to dystocia and difficulty in lambing. We have to think about several aspects, because periodical checking of the animal, not only staying in the farms, when they are let loose for the grazing, there also we need to go for it. This is an important aspect. If we can't go into the grazing lands while they are coming back into the pens, we need to stand there and we need to observe the animals for their body structures. There must be an increase in the body weight. They should not become obese during the early gestation. And the late gestation, the most critical 6 weeks of the year for the ewe flock in terms of nutrition. This is an important aspect during the late gestation, where rapid fetal developments will be there, and the energy requirements will also be there, because the rapid fetus also will be taking energy from the mother. So if we don't provide sufficient energy to the mother, what will happen? The mother at its own cost will provide sufficient energy to the lamb to grow by depleting its own resources. Then it comes to lactation after lambing. The lactational stress will be very high than the gestational stress. The lactational stress, if during that period, during the gestation, if the body condition of the animal is not up to the mark, the lactation as an essential aspect which a mother cannot avoid. The milk will be continuously producing inside the body. What will happen? It will draw energy from its body. If outside energy is balancing the depleted energy, then the body condition will be good. If the outside energy is not balancing the depleted energy, what will happen? The animals will go down in the condition during the lactational period. Lactation stress will be very high compared to the gestational stress. Then after the lactation period is over, bringing back the animal back to normalcy will take more period, and the interlambing period will also increase, and the future lambings will also be difficult to see in a proper way. This is an important aspect, you see. And another thing is weaning environment. Weaning is nothing but making the lamb nutritionally independent. Lactational stress is very high on the mother. I have already told you, to reduce a little stress on the mother, what we have to do is we have to do the weaning, a gradual weaning or a sudden weaning or a fence line weaning. Several weaning methods are there. One method we have to resort to. Only the thing is, during the weaning, we are making the animal nutritionally independent, not depending on the mother. So when we are not letting it depend on the mother, we have to provide during the weaning proper nutrition to the animal, proper nutritional to the animal. This important aspect we have to keep in the mind. During the weaning period, we have to let the stress minimal, because weaning always is stressful to the animal. Till that period, animal is with the mother. Animal is with the mother company, mother's production, mother's touch, mother's warmth, everything will be there. The moment we wean them, what we are depriving it is the comfort of the mother, the protection of the mother. What will happen? It will be under stress. It will continuously bleed. It stops taking. During the weaning, you see, if you don't provide proper environment, proper company, environmental enrichment, if it is not provided, what will happen? The stressors will be released. The cortisols, basically, the cortisols do act in a very, very negative way on the animals. So the cortisol effect will be very severe on the lambs. We have to think about providing proper environment to the lambs during that period. That is an important aspect of weaning. We have to take care about weaning. Never ever neglect weaning. During weaning, provide comfortable environment and provide the comfort and company of the equal aged lambs. That is also very important. Environment has to be taken care of. That is an important aspect. Then low stress weaning needs to be taken care. I've already told you. And the feeding lambs, lambs will start to nibble on solid food soon after birth. The weaves milk production peaks between 3 and 4 weeks of lactation. By the time lambs are 4 to 6 weeks old, they may be obtaining as much as 50% of their nutrient intake from the sources other than their mother's milk. That means by the 4 to 6 weeks old, we can plan. But the traditional method says 3 months. That means 12 weeks is the better way, because 12 weeks, why it has come 8 weeks in the case of dogs and 12 weeks in the case of lambs and other things is the secondary socialization period. They will be in the secondary socialization period. The primary socialization period, they will be learning about the specific behaviors. And during the secondary socialization behaviors, they will get attached. They will be learning about their environments. That is very, very important. After learning about their environments only, we need to see that they are separated and they grow independently on their own. This socialization period, neonatal, transitional, primary socialization, and secondary socialization, these periods have to be taken care. And we have to keep ourselves in the mind, as we are the professionals. We need to keep all this in the mind. We don't need to explain to the farmers, but we need to keep in the mind while telling to the farmers about the things. Just casual advices are not sufficient. Then you see the creep feeding. I've already told you a separate creep area has to be provided so that only the lambs do have access. Then creep ration should have high protein, calcium, phosphorus, and additive should be there. Balanced creep ration should be there. We need to keep a balanced creep ration. That is an important aspect. Then some people will think about high grain concentrates and pasture-based rations. Several pros and cons are there. Grain-fed lambs grow faster, and pasture is more natural diet and environment for lambs. In the case of pastures, they do have parasitic burdens. In the case of grains, they do have disturbance about the intestinal dispenses and other things are there, and the cost will be very high. Though internal parasites are not usually a problem, but in the case of pasture-based methods, finishing of lambs, I have already told you by the 3rd month onwards, we will be sending the animals to the grazing. 3rd month afterwards to the grazing. There, for everything, you know, plus and minus will be there. The pros and cons will be there. We have to think about the pros and cons. Then we have to take a most appropriate decision, because one thing we have to keep in the mind: the ultimate comfort, ultimate growth, the health of the lamb is the final judge about the management. Management is not a science, it's an art. You know, it is an art. One thing worked for me, do not work for others. Management is an art. How best we can utilize the available resources for the better benefit of the animal, that is called as management. Management is nothing but utilization of the available resources in such a way that productivity and performance will be increased. And management, I'm telling again and again, is an art. Management is not a science, is an art. Art needs to be learned through experience. Through experience. Science you can learn by reading 2 or 3 books, but art and management, it needs experience. There is no shortcut to experience. This part we need to know. We have to discuss. Nobody is there who knows everything. Everybody needs to have some sort of discussion. This part is an important aspect. Management is an art, not a science. Then our farm routine, you see, we will let the animals stay together for a longer period so that the dam-daughter relationship will develop. Second thing is, I have already told you, we will provide comfortable green environment and we'll provide creep ration to a group of lambs. See, in between, there is a big lamb that is trying to dominate. We will try to separate the lambs in such a way that all the lambs to get the creep and all the lambs to have access to the good feed and good fodder. Then you see the lamb right side, Narisuvarna lamb. It is pride of our farm, and we have to check the mother for milk status. And we have a high-raised slatted farm. Slatted floor shed is there, high-raised one. It is about 1,000 square feet. It costed us about 8 lakhs. After getting this shed, we have observed few things. First thing is the parasitic burden has been reduced to almost zero, we can proudly say. Second thing is there is a problem with regard to hoof. Hoof growth is uneven. Hoof growth is uneven. You know pretty well, it doesn't need a rocket science to say the hooves, when they touch the hard ground, they will be rubbed, and due to some thing, what will happen? The hoof will be in shape. Here, the hoof are not in a proper shape. This is the thing. What we are advising is we need to get these animals down at least for 1 or 2 hours during the daytime. We need to, we are planning about it. But here the advantage is we can look at each and every animal perfectly. We can look and we can handle the animals perfectly, and we will know which animal is eating and which animal is not eating, and which animal is sick and which animal is healthy, and which animal is dominating it and which animal is docile. And like that we can understand. Another thing is we'll be weighing. Birth weight of this lamb is 2.2 kg. After 6 weeks, body weight is 8.9 kg. You can see the figure in that. The average daily gain is 159.50 grams. And another thing is this date of birth is 10/1/22. This is now a bigger, this lamb has become very big, and now it is pregnant at our place. This body weight is 2.9 kg. Weight in just 30 days or 40 days, you see. Average daily gain, you see, 287 grams. It is very, very high. It is very high. We have not seen this in other lambs. The average is about 120 to 145 grams we have got. And the thing is, you see, the best management, if we can provide, definitely it will help us in getting a good lamb crop. And the good lamb crop, if the lamb is good, it comes to heat quick, and it comes to market weight quick, or it comes to heat quick, and it can be crossed, and we can get good lambs from them. And another thing, I raise it is a hedge lucerne. This one thing which I want to advise to all is, we have used several things: creep feeds, we have used concentrate feeds, we have used super napier, we have used other legumes, subabul, and several things we have brought in. But you see, hedge lucerne is a wonderful plant twig. Hedge lucerne, you see, it is playing a wonder. It's playing a wonder. The animals are consuming very quick, and their growth rates are also looking very great for us. I'm encouraging several farmers who are visiting, almost thousands of farmers will be visiting our farms regularly with regard to advisors. We will be advising about the hedge lucerne, and I strongly recommend hedge lucerne for the lambs. Here you can see the lambs consuming their hedge lucerne. This is the Dakkani lamb crop. Dakkani lamb crop, a black lamb, black sheep of our Telangana state. We are maintaining these things. You can see they all got themselves immersed in the eating. They enjoy. If the leaves are good, they can enjoy. This is feeding of hedge lucerne is a practice of our farm.